Hi, I'm Carol with Let's Talk Dementia, and today I'm on the floor playing. Do you remember the time when you used to get on the floor and play with your children, how much they enjoyed it and how much you did too? Well, guess what? That's kind of where I am today, except I have no children to play with. And I don't recommend you get your seniors in the floor to play. That's probably not your best idea. Before we get too involved in this episode, let me remind you to subscribe. Press that subscribe button down there so you don't miss the next episode. But instead of getting your folks with dementia or your senior citizens down on the floor, maybe we're going to take this up on a table. But if you saw how crowded my office is today and the papers are everywhere, you'd understand this was our only open space. I want to show you today a product that we will have a link to in the show notes, and it's called Mind Design. It's got an MD on it. It's on a lot of their things. Mind, M-I-N-D, Design. And they have produced this wonderful set of very valuable toys, if you want to, or games that can be used for folks with dementia. And they store very nicely on these trays inside this box. It's just so neat. Now, it's not a cheap thing. It's got a little bit of a price on it, but it's extremely well made. It will last a very long time. And the folks that I have showed it to have really enjoyed it with their loved one. Let me show you a couple of the things. I've got some puzzle pieces here on the floor. And if you will look, this is an entire puzzle. There's only 3 pieces in this puzzle. What we want to do with our folks with dementia is always lead them to success. We want to sing with them the songs they know, because then they are successful. And we want to help them, if they're putting puzzles together, to be successful. And when we get into the very last stages of dementia, specifically Alzheimer's type dementia, successes are few and far between. So if we've only got 3 pieces, then it's going to be easier to hook those 3 pieces together. So let me let you just look up close to this here, see if you can see it. And we've got 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and that is how they hook together. Now we have success. We have completed the puzzle. But you know what? I don't know if you can tell in the back, these are actually made out of plywood, I guess. They're wood pieces. They're not going to come apart very easily. Down here is another one. And if you notice too, there were letters. I forgot to mention that. There are letters on them that spell what the item is. J-A-R, jar. So it helps also in getting those pieces of puzzle put together. I think that's neat. Well, on another tray in here are 4 cubes, and they're magnetic. They will actually hook together if I get them turned right. And when they are put together right, kind of like a Rubik's Cube, you remember that? When you line it up just right, it forms a picture. And so the object is to be able to turn this until the picture is just right. Now this takes a little more thought. Someone in the very advanced stages might not could do it. But when you look there, what do you see? The dog. Here you see, I think it's a bridge. There you see sunflowers. And that looks like a great big bank building in downtown, right? So if you turn any one of them the wrong way, then all 4 pictures are messed up. So you have to turn them. And they are magnetic. I think that's pretty neat. Another thing that is in here that I just think is super neat. This reminds me of when I was growing up. I liked to sew. My mama taught me how to sew. And there are these lacing cards. You remember these things from when you were a kid? Someone's used it recently and laced it over the edge, which isn't exactly right, but there's really not a wrong way. But the idea is to go in the hole, pull it through, go in another hole, and pull it through. There really is no right or wrong pattern. The idea is to be able to successfully take this little end and put it in that hole, reach around, remembering that you need to reach around and pull it through. You don't realize the brain power that takes, and the more brain power it takes, the more activity we've got going on in the brain. There's more light, more cells firing. We've got some good stuff going on in the brain. If they were to do a scan of our brain when we're busy doing something like this, they would see that there's more lit up activity. When the brain's busy, it lights up in a scan, and they would see lots of areas of the brain light up simply because we were pushing this in the holes in and out. Another part in here, this reminds me of Lincoln Logs. From my childhood, or my daughter liked Legos, right? Where you build things. And your folks with dementia did not have probably either one, but they can take these, they're slotted and they're wood, and put them together in any order whatsoever, no right, no wrong, and they can build something. They can build onto it, they can build 2 or 3 separate things, and they're good and sturdy, so you don't have to worry about them breaking later. And then they all store very nicely right here, and I take it, slide it right back in here because I'm a person who loves organization and I hate clutter. Bibbity bobbity boo, out of the way. Mind design. I don't get paid to advertise for these people. I'm just here to help you. But they do have a wonderful product. Check it out. So I hope that gives you something that you might try with your loved ones with dementia this week. Why do we do this? Because knowledge brings power. Power brings hope. Hope brings smiles. We all need more smiles and time to play games too. All right, it's time for your funny of the day. There was this man who died and he went to heaven, and when he arrived, he was met by St. Peter. St. Peter took him down this long hall, and he noticed there were clocks all along the way. And he said to Peter, "What's with all the clocks?" And he said, "Well, each person has their own clock, and every time they sin, the clock ticks. Another sin, the clock ticks." And the guy thought that was very interesting. And he said, "Whose clock is that?" He says, "That's the Reverend Billy Graham. It hardly ever ticks. It's very slow." "And whose clock is that?" the man asked. He said, "That's Mother Teresa's clock. Her clock, it just, would never tick because she didn't sin." He said, "I would really like to see my clock." St. Peter said, "Okay, but we keep your clock in the office. We use it as a fan." That's not good news, is it? Blessings and smiles on your day.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. When you subscribe, you'll be able to stay up to date on our latest videos, and all of the videos are free. Check out my book, Let's Talk Dementia. It is available on Amazon. The link is in the description below. Blessings and smiles.